afternoon everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot. I'm back with you again. The second of this week's reviews. We're back in Asia again. We seem to be spending quite a bit of time here. We're in Thailand and you're looking at KRABI International Airport in Thailand. Victor Tango Sierra Golf. This is a payware scenery by Simman and you're looking at the release version 1 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. Download comes in at just under a gig, 991 meg, and it installs at 1.45 gig, currently available from Sim Market. I'll give you the prices: €16.31, which equates to roughly $17.36 US, or £13.96 UK. As ever, the US and UK prices are all estimates from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT, which of course may vary depending on your country of purchase. So let's have a look at features. So features, we have custom realistic terminal building, realistic parking area, realistic building in the airport area. Basically that's off airport and close to the airport. There are one or two objects around for us to look at. 4 taxiway in use in this version 1. Not quite sure what that means, but we've got I think we've actually got 4 taxiways, including a high-speed runoff, and custom jetways. Now as some of you may know who saw my last video, I have GSX installed now, GSX Pro. And I'm also going to provide a link in the description for the GSX Pro file that you can use with this airport to make the jetways and everything work, should you use that option, if you use that facility. So let's have a look at some history. So history: KRABI International Airport, Victor Tango Sierra Golf, is a public use international airport owned and operated by the Thailand Department of Airports. It is located in Nuh Klong District, Subdistrict, Nuh Klong District, Krabi Province in southern Thailand. The airport is situated just 4 miles, or 7 kilometers, east of downtown Krabi, and first opened in 1999. In 2017, Krabi Airport handled over 4 million passengers, and with the terminal only designed for 3 million, a number already exceeded, the planned expansion will push its capacity to over 8 million passengers annually. In 2018, the airport was allocated 6.6 billion baht, or roughly 145 million UK pounds, to build a third terminal, renovate the existing 2 terminals and car park, and expand the aircraft parking bays and associated electrical power infrastructure. In 2019, the Department of Airports announced a project to double the airport's capacity to 8 million passengers per year. The airport will no longer be expanded after its final phase of expansion due to lack of space and the city of Krabi's own expansion, and will not be able to cope with future traffic. So a new international airport is proposed, construction to take place in Huang Nga province. The project is expected to be completed by 2025 and will serve as an alternative to the current Krabi airport. Currently around 10 airlines operate into and out of Krabi airport, including AirAsia, Fly Dubai, Jetstar Asia and Thai Vietjet Air. Last year, 2023, saw the airport handle over 2.3 million passengers, making it the 6th busiest airport in the country. So there you go folks, the airport has planned expansion, and also there's another airport planned to cope with the traffic. It's a popular vacation spot for international tourists. So let's have a look at the runway situation here. Okay, runways then. Krabi Airport operates a single runway, 3214, measuring 9,850 feet or 3,000 meters, and it is constructed from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 93 feet or 28 meters and sits within the GMT UTC plus 7 hours time zone. Now, Thailand does not observe daylight saving time, or DST, and with the UK currently on British summertime, Krabi Airport is just 6 hours ahead of the UK now. So runways here, both ends of runway 3214, both ends of this single runway feature high intensity runway lighting, the short approach lighting system, and precision approach path indicators on the left side. And as you can see, they've got it exactly right. You have the short approach lighting system here, PAPI's on the left, high intensity lighting. We've also got runway end identifier lighting here too. Approaches here on this runway 32, you have standard instrument landing system, an RNP approach and a VOR approach option. So a quick look at the other end, runway 14. So here you are at the other end, runway 14, and as you can see, exactly the same. PAPI's on the left, the full approach lighting system with the sequence flashing lights as well. So exactly the same as the other runway, which is pretty much perfect. Here's the VOR station too. Now there are no published approach procedures for runway 14, so essentially I'm assuming this is going to be a visual approach only, potentially sort of during the day or just before dusk gets going. The only vertical guidance you have are the PAPI's here, but no instrument approach charts listed. So I would think landings in visual meteorological conditions during the day only. Just a side note here, currently until July 2024, in the real world, the airport is undergoing construction of new taxiways and airfield lighting. Works to be carried out between 0100 and 1400 UTC, which is basically 7 o'clock until 8 PM local time, and subject to scheduled flights arriving. So that's the real world situation for you. And okay, now let's look at the Jetway situation here too. Okay, so here we are, Jetways. I've literally spawned straight from the menu onto this stand. KRABI Airport has 2 Jetways. We'll try this one, see how it works. Okay, looks nice, the wheels turn and it moves at the right rate and it's going down, and we've got these stairs going into the concrete, which is, as I said, quite normal on about 99% of the sceneries. And that looks to be a pretty fair connection. When you look at the Jetway itself, it's okay, it's not weathered, it's not fully weathered, but yeah, you know, it's fair enough. Let's have a close-up look. So that's just about reached the aircraft, and it's the hood's gone into the aircraft, and the footway there is close to the door but not actually right on it. It's probably fair enough. Let's have a look from the other side. And now you can see that actually looks better from the other side. So let's go in and see what it's like inside the Jetway front area there. So here we are inside the Jetway. This is about as far back as I can go. But yeah, it looks okay. The top is pretty good. It's just touching the aircraft fuselage that side. And there's a bit of a gap there. And there you can see there's a gap where it hasn't quite sort of met the aircraft. Okay, so let's try and open the aircraft door and see whether it infringes the Jetway. So the door's open, let's see if we can get a good look at it. So that's about the best view I can get. Here you can see the door at the end of the Jetway, and here's the aircraft door, and it's not bad at all. It hasn't really, from what I can see, infringed it. Maybe just a little here, but it doesn't look bad at all. Let's have a look in from the outside from the inside. And there you can see the Jetway end doors from inside the aircraft. Okay, so let's disconnect the Jetway now. Once again, the door springs back. And there's the usual slight delay. The wheels move really well, actually. They're moving correctly as they should do, which is a really good thing. You don't see that on too many Jetway movements. The wheels here are moving correctly. And there we are. There's the Jetway back in its original position. So there you go, folks. That was the Jetways for you, and my mistake. There are actually 3 Jetways here. You can see we're on the middle version. So that was the Jetway test. Let's do the main tour and have a look at this airport and see just how well it's been modelled. Okay, so back to the daytime. Here we are at the northern end of the field. We'll just have a look at the airside area passing north to south to begin with. The VOR station there on the left hand side. You can also see the fuel farm to the right and various off-airport buildings as well. And as we come along the ramp, this is the additional parking area which exists at the northern part of the airfield, and it all looks pretty impressive. Taxiways, the ground markings are all pretty good. I don't see any issues really. All looks pretty nice. And here we're coming up to the main terminal airside. As you can see, there are 3 jetway gates in addition to the other parking that you have north and south of this area. It's a beautifully modelled building. Plenty of ground clutter. There's the control tower, we'll look at that in a minute. And quite a nice ambient view here. Some vehicles, various bits of ground clutter, all looks really nice, and it's textured as well and quite nicely weathered. And as we continue there, you go up towards the southern end. You've got off-airport buildings, hotels there, look to the right. And below us you can see the airside fence. We just cross over the runway. There's the windsock. And you've got these features on the other side here, on the east side, which look to me like power lines. This may well be part of the electrical infrastructure that we were talking about in the description. And in fact, there they are. They extend all the way down. And when we look in the other direction, they extend all the way up there too. So here's a taxiway exit, which actually isn't marked on the ground map on the Navigraph charts. So I'm assuming this is either yet to be built or is no longer in use. So once again, we pass back towards the airport itself. This time we'll have a look landside. We'll visit the control tower on the way. There you can see some buildings on the left there, which I assume are hotels. But it all looks pretty nice here. Interesting to see this during the dusk hours as well. So let's check out the tower before we go landside proper. Okay, nicely modelled. The outside of the building isn't really textured that much. And inside we can see a developed tower inside, but no people or other development. It's just basic. Let's go in. So here you can see basic development, nothing more. And looking the other direction. So back landside, a quick tour of this area. Not entirely sure what it is. It might be the back end of the fire station. But again, you can see cars and various bits of clutter, bits and pieces, all quite nicely done. Quite simplified, but nicely done as well. And this is obviously under construction. So back towards the airport landside, there you can see the entrance gate to the right there. All the power lines have been done, which is good. Just go across the car park here. Okay, some nice vehicles, quite a variation of vehicles, all properly parked in their spots, which is something I like to see. And now we come landside of the terminal here. So this looks a bit weird. We've got this area here, but I can't see any actual access to the terminal. See, there's the landside part of the terminal there. I don't know, maybe it's round the corner. Let's follow this round. Right, as you can see, from this parking area here, there's no access to the terminal. But then here is the main access from what I can see. So this isn't the upper level landside. All looks a bit barren to me. One or two cars here at the other end. This would benefit from a few more taxis perhaps and some people. There's some buses and various bits and pieces to the left there. So we've got the landside car park, various levels here, and you've got the bridge that goes across. And here's the main car park. Again, quite a good variety of models, all properly parked. So as you can see, this is an interesting design sort of thing here. Here are the landside roads. You've got the access to the up ramp which takes you to the terminal access up here, and you've got the road that goes around the back that takes you to this part, which you can park at, but due to the green fences doesn't seem you can get access into the terminal. That's kind of interesting really. Got to work that one out. There's the landside highway, and looking in the other direction. And here's the main access point into the road, into the terminal. Here you've got the barriers down, and here the barriers are up. So let's go into the terminal landside first, see if there's any development. Okay, so you've got a shell with nothing that we can see landside, certainly not here. To be honest, it's ripe for development. It's ready to be developed further because I mean, the interior is modelled, and this is something I don't understand a lot of the time. So you've got everything modelled, but just nobody or nothing here, and I don't always get why that is. See, top of the escalators, all modelled. Everything modelled here nicely, but I just don't know why nothing's been added. So we continue to the other end of the terminal. Let's just go through the glass here. And there's a view you can see outside, which is quite nice. And once again, the modelling inside is fine, it's lovely, but it's ripe for development, and I've no idea why it isn't developed. So let's look at the other building that we can't drive up to. And that of course is the same, although this hasn't been developed to any real extent. There's the control tower building as we pass back airside again. So back to the airside ramp, which is the thing that we're all looking for. There you can see various bits of clutter. There's a guy, the engineer there, all marked up properly for the airport. The ramp markings are fine. We've got one or two engineers milling about, which is quite good. And there you can hear a ground power unit attached to that tug. And once again we've got ground clutter marked for the various airlines. And we've got Vtsg there. And here's the fire station. Nicely modelled. And that's the fire tower, and they've got some internal structure, but again no real modelling. So just a couple of close-up shots airside. Here's my aircraft parked on the stand there. Jetway's come back now. And you can see the interior airside of the terminal. Modelled, but nothing much else in there. We'll have a quick look in a minute. And there we are looking in the other direction. A close-up look at the stand here with my aircraft parked on it. So a quick view from the flight deck. This is what you'll see when you park up on this stand during the daytime. It's a view out of the captain's window. And looking across the first officer's window. So let's go inside airside, see what we can see. So that bit's constructed, as you can see here, the airside lounge and everything's been constructed. I'm sure this is what it looks like at the real airport. Nice to be able to see out through the glass. And a couple of interesting structures here. But no people, no shops, no development of any kind as such that we could see other than what you see here. Again, you're looking at an airport terminal interior that's ripe for development, but hasn't been developed yet. But it all looks quite impressive, to be honest. So there you are, that's an overview shot airside of this main terminal. And as you can see from this shot, the interior of the other terminal that exists alongside, the one that we couldn't get access to from landside, again the same interior development, or non-development as you might like to call it. So as we travel across the ramp, you can see the ramp has been nicely textured and weathered with oil stains and various bits and pieces. Let's have a quick look at some of the taxiway signage. So there you can see the blue airfield edge lights. And decent taxiway signs. And as we get towards the runway, this is Bravo exit. And there you can see the two taxiway signs leading onto the runway. And there's a close-up look. So that was a reasonable tour during the daytime. Let's turn the light down to dusk now and have a look at the airport lighting. Okay, it's 6:35 PM local time. As I say, it's late April 2024, and the lights have came on about 5 minutes ago. This part of the world, the sun disappears quite rapidly. Sunset doesn't last very long. As you can see, you've got this beautiful effect as we look out over there towards the west side. It really does look nice. The lighting generally on the ramp looks great, no real problems I can see there. And there's the runway. You've got blue airfield edge lights everywhere, so taxiing shouldn't be an issue. But you've just got to remember to be careful not to use this one here. There is a turning pad at both ends of the runway, so if you do a full length landing, that's not a problem. And there we are looking at the additional parking at the other end. So as we come off here, I can't see any green centerline lights. Let's just come round onto the main ramp. Okay, you've got lit signage there, which is good. As you get closer, the light looks better. There's the fire station. And there's the main terminal 1 and 2 next to each other. Internally looks great. The light coming out of it really makes a difference. Just a pity you can't see much more than just the internal development, and that's it. But as you can see, comes some quite nice lighting airside. And as we head toward landside, you've got the same situation. Some quite nice lighting here, quite subtle. It looks nice. And once again, there's the terminal to the right there. And here's the main terminal. Adequate lighting, nothing fancy. But it looks pretty nice. So here's the main terminal lower level that we didn't see during the day. There to the right you can see the multi-storey car park. This looks better, more cars. Be nice to see a couple of taxis, be nice to see some people to bring this to life a bit more. It's fine, no real complaints at all about the airport and its structure. It's just not alive, unfortunately. Really does need to have some work done to develop it. Just my opinion, of course. Those of you who watch my videos know that I'm all about ambience. I think it's important now that we've got the ability in Flight Simulator 2020 to have animated people and all the different eye candy effects that it can produce. I say why not to add them, especially since in many cases they don't really affect the frame rate. Just pass back airside. There you get a better view of the ramp, how it looks under the lighting, and the signage as well that's lit. So again, as we pass airside over the ramp, which is the meat and potatoes of what we're all interested in here. Plenty of light, all coming from the right sources. And we've got a couple of engineers around the airside ramp, which is good. And you can see clear view into the terminal. Okay, so that was the airport pretty much during dusk. Let's drop it down to night time now. I'm interested to see what happens out here. From here, the right looks really bright. So let's drop it down to night and see what happens. Okay, 10 p.m. local time, and actually it looks pretty good. The light hasn't gone over the top. It's still, how can I put it, maybe a little bit subdued. It hasn't come up as much as I expected, and these areas that were over bright look near perfect now in the night time. So I've seen this with a couple of sceneries. When you transition from day into night, it's fine, but dusk also, I mean, it looks great on many airports, but they often fail to get the lighting quite right in terms of transition. I mean, lighting looks much better at night time here than it does during the dusk hours, in my opinion. But that's good. Let's get down to the ramp and see what it looks like down where the aircraft is. So here we are on the main ramp. As you can see, not much change from dusk, although it does look better. And there's the view across the airside ramp. As you can see, the lighting is produced from the correct source. And here you've got the two taxiways off the runway. Okay, no centerline lighting, but it's close enough, I think, for you to not really have a problem getting into main ramp area. Should be fine. A last view from the flight deck. As you can see, not much has changed. It's pretty much the same as dusk. And yeah, I'm sorry, but the terminal is crying out for activity. Be nice to see some people, some shops, you know, a couple of animated people walking about would really bring this airport to life a bit more. So here's an overview of landside car park. As you can see, is very powerfully lit. But actually, when you go a bit lower, closer to the car park, the light is more subdued. So this just may well be a feature or just a little anomaly within the simulator. There in the distance to the right, you can see the flashing light on top of the control tower. And just a closer look here landside, you can see the lower level we looked at earlier on, and you've got the upper level there, where the road is actually quite dark and the terminal's fairly black. And they're looking in the other direction. Okay, so that was night time. Let's bring up the dawn now, and if I'm pacing the right way, we should have the sun come up behind us. Okay, 6:25 in the morning local time, and there you can see the red glow on the buildings. That gives this really nice effect. Some lighting is still on that you can see in various parts here, but the main terminal and the ramp area, the lights have all gone out, and all looks pretty good. And there, looking down the runway, here you've got the power lines, the electrical infrastructure we were talking about in the history, and there's your runway and exits. And you can just see there's a temple here. There are bits and pieces off airport that I'm going to leave you to look at. And they're looking at the other end of the runway, and there's the sun coming up quite nicely over the hills in the distance. Okay, here we are an hour later. The sun's up, well up now, and it's time to give you my thoughts and conclusions. Okay, first off, like many of the airports like this, it's nice. There's nothing really huge to complain about in terms of the airport and the operations and what you need as a pilot coming in and out of here. Navigationally, it's all correct as per the charts. You've got an ILS at one end and you have visual approaches only at the other. Taxiways and runways, airside, everything you need is there. It's great. And the jetways work. And landside, yeah, landside looks perfectly acceptable. And there's one or two bits and pieces for you to explore just outside the airport environment as well. The cons, you know, I just don't get why developers develop the inside of a terminal to a reasonable standard and then put nothing in it. And then the same landside, you've got this lovely landside area. They've got a whole line of parked cars on the lower level landside, but no people. Now there may be two reasons for this. One, maybe the developer wanted to get the airport out and on the market to test the market about it, to see whether it was popular, before they then maybe decide to update it with people and go the full wag and really do it. That may be one reason, or the other reason simply that this is as far as they wanted to go and that's it. And I see this with a lot of sceneries. Developers just do the minimum and leave it at that, and that's fine. Okay, if that's how they want to do that, then that's okay. I accept that. It just seems a real pity when you've got options here with this simulator to really bring this airport to life. At the moment, it's great. It's a lovely airport, nicely textured and modelled, sits in the terrain very well, no anomalies, and they've done everything. They've even done the electrical system on the other side of the runway, and you've got a temple further down, and various other things to look at landside as well, in terms of eye candy. But the airport is lifeless. Okay, you've got a couple of engineers wandering around the aircraft airside, but really that's it. However, in terms of price, is it worth it? It's probably just about, I would say. I mean, it's selling for €16.31 with including tax. I would say it's probably worth about 14. Why do I say that? Well, because the development is good, but it's not gone far enough, in my opinion. But that doesn't detract from the fact that it's a nice airport, well modelled, and if you're looking for KRABI Airport for Flight Simulator 2020, this currently is the best version, and you'll have to pay for it if you want it. Who knows, come up in the sales maybe in due course, you might get it a bit cheaper, or the developer may surprise us all and come out and add the bits and pieces that are missing and bring the airport to life, and that would make it well worth the price. But like I said, I don't always find it easy to understand why developers only go so far and not go the whole hog. I'm talking to a couple of developers at the moment who are working on improving some products still further that they've got out there. And I get that, and that's perfectly okay. It means you're going to get to a place where the product is just amazing. At the moment, it's perfectly acceptable, no problem with it at all. But I don't think it's gone far enough. I would like to see some more internal development in the terminal and some people added in various places, particularly as you've done landside, and you could at least do the control tower. Again, the building is modelled. It's done. You just got to develop it. But that's a decision up to the developer, Simman. Doesn't take away from the fact that I actually quite like this airport. It's fine, and it might be fun to fly into. So there you are, folks. That's my opinion. This is KRABI International Airport in Thailand, Victor Tango Sierra Golf. It's a payware scenery by Simman. Version 1 is the release version for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. Downloads at just under a gig, 991 meg, and installs at 1.45 gigs. Available from the Sim market, priced at €16.31, which equates to roughly $17.36 US, or £13.96 UK. As ever, those prices are estimates from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT, which could vary depending on your country of purchase. So there you are, folks. That's my review, my thoughts on this airport. My thanks to Simman for letting me have a copy for review. Very kind of him to do so. I see a lot of his work and I do like it, which is why I say that this is another nice airport, nicely modelled, but I really would like to see it brought to life more. So there you go. If you've been on the fence about whether to get this, I hope this has helped you make the right decision one way or the other. Stay tuned. Next week, 2 more reviews, and I'm still hoping to get a couple of videos up from the world tour. We're in Malaysia at the moment. We're going to be heading down to Singapore shortly. So thank you for joining me, folks. Thanks for supporting me. And thank you to those people who make comments, who take the time to make comments, to which I will always respond to. And guys, that's really important to me. I think it's important to engage with your customers and viewers, as it were. So thanks again. I'll see you in the next video. Guys, have a great week and have a safe weekend flying. Bye for now.